Welcome. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. My name is Nada St. Germain, and I was introduced to Neolife over 34 years ago. And this is definitely one of my favorite topics. And I was sharing earlier how I do record these presentations. And this is one of the topics that when I do put it up to my YouTube and I share it, it's a topic that's watched quite frequently. Quite a few actually people watch this and rewatch it and share it. And that's what's so nice about having this available for you guys, because sometimes when you hear it the first time, you have to hear it again. And, when I saw this over 34 years ago, I was in my early 20s. I started to experience some joint pain in my knees. And, my mom was in her 40s and she was starting to really struggle with pain in her fingers and her toes and in her knees as well. But she was later diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I'm going to share her story as we go further along. But it was quite interesting because mom was taking supplements for a number of years with no results. So when a neighbor and a dear friend of mine approached me and asked me if I would try these supplements with her, I flat out said no. I said, I don't believe in supplements. They don't help at all. My mom's been taking them for a number of years. With no results. And I was really skeptical. As some of you know, I was working as a police officer in the city. And, I didn't believe in things quite quickly or fast enough. But I have to say that I was grateful that I listened to my neighbor Flo, because we were really good friends and I trusted her. And when she asked me to try these products with my mom, I said, you know what? Maybe there's something different. I'd like to learn about it first. I'd like to know why these products might be different. And when I saw the Neolife difference, I was really excited and keen to give them a try. And I have to say, I'm in my late 50s and I feel younger now than I did in my 20s and 30s. And my mom, who's in her late 70s, is incredible. I mean, her joint pain is under control. She has a garden, and about 4 or 5 years ago, she had over 200 people tour her perennial garden, and she does it all herself. And it's quite extensive gardening. It's acres of gardens. And we even planted over 200 garlic plants. So it's amazing to see how physically active she is. And what good nutrition will do, it doesn't cure anything. It's amazing how supplying the body with the proper nutrients, I like to say how you can age gracefully. And that's what good nutrition will do. And we're going to help you understand just some of the challenges we're having with our food and why supplementation plays a really big role in filling those nutritional gaps in your diet. So I had to stop all full activity 34 years ago. Even when I was training on the police force, we had to do a 5-mile run and I couldn't run. So what they did to help me pass my physical, they put me on a bike to train my cardio. And then I was able to pass my physical for my run, for my final test when I was joining the police force. And now you should see me. I squat, I kickbox, I do a lot of very intense fitness trainings, and I don't have any issues with my knees. So the products have truly impacted my life. So let's talk a little bit more about diet, because diet is really, really important, because you really are what you eat. The reality is that 75% of all chronic diseases are preventable. And one thing we want to look at is the sugar. How much sugar are we putting into our body? Because sugar is an inflammatory food. And it's not just like sugar in your coffee or eating a dessert. There's a lot of hidden sugars in many of our packaged foods, canned foods, and a lot of your processed like white flour products, they convert to sugar. So you really want to look at, reducing the sugar consumption, because it does cause inflammation in the body. So go to whole food, and that's what we're going to talk a little bit about, because even our Canadian Food Guide back in 2019, they made some amazing changes to their food guide where half of your plate should be those dark colored fruits and vegetables with a little bit of protein, a little bit of carbohydrates and like whole grains, and water should be your drink of choice. So I don't know if your plate looks like this, but I sure know some of our kids' plates don't look quite like this. So there's a huge gap and a deficiency in our diet. And there was a recent study that came out of Lancet, and it was done in over 190 countries. And they found that it's what we aren't eating is actually killing us. And this was a global study. And the foods and the studies that they found that were missing were called lipids and phytosterols. It was a #1 cause of diet-related death. And this is an article that went back to 1994, quoting that research from a medical journal in statements from Dr. Segal and his colleagues from the Boston University Medical Center. They explained that food manufacturers generally removed the spoilage-prone compounds, the essential fatty acids from pasta, bread, and breakfast cereal in order to lengthen the shelf life. And they made a powerful statement that it's perhaps essential fatty acid deficiency is perhaps the most important health problem in America. This is huge. And this whole study that they were talking about was that we weren't eating enough the whole grains, fruit, nuts, and seeds, low omega-3, and low vegetables. So our grains are no longer whole. They used to grind the wheat, make the flour, make the bread, and the breads only had a day shelf life. Well, guess what? We call this the great grain robbery. They mill out all these critical oils for mass production. And what's left is this starch, kind of white flour, protein, gluten, that so many people have sensitivities to and can't utilize and break them down. So, how do we fill these gaps? Where do we find food supplements? When you're looking at supplements, natural, synthetic, store-bought, who do you trust? And this was a huge question for me, again, because watching my mom's journey over the years. And did you know that the #1 counterfeit nutritional supplement is? Do you know what it is? Fish oil. That's right, omega-3 supplements. People are creating fake fish oils. And I found this quite fascinating because, when I talked to so many people over the years, they stopped taking supplements because they weren't impacting their life. And one of them was the fish oil. So this really opened my eyes, and it makes sense. And this, again, gave me a better understanding because, so who can you trust? There's so many studies that were done out there where they found adulterated herbals. They found inactive ingredients, speed-like ingredients. You just don't know. So that's one of the biggest challenges we have today. So when I looked at Neolife as a company, it was definitely a name I could trust. First of all, scientific and safe health solutions in 1958. Companies will not last 65 years if they've been doing something wrong. So this company definitely was doing something right. That's the first thing that opened my eyes. Now, this is very, very critical. We actually have a pharmaceutical license for manufacturing. So that's why, again, we've never been in trouble because we're heavily regulated, just like drugs. And whatever's on the label is in the bottle, whereas many companies have been found not true. Established in over 50 countries, a pioneer in the industry. And we have the most respected scientific advisory board and research team, and their whole philosophy is based in nature and backed by science. And this is our scientific advisory board. We're so incredibly blessed to have such a beautiful team that work together to manufacture the products. They do not just endorse. Many companies will hire scientists and doctors to endorse products, but not actually involved in developing and manufacturing the products. And we get to meet these guys at many of our events, and many of us that are on tonight are going to meet a handful of these guys in July at our summit in San Antonio, Texas. So grateful. And I had the opportunity of meeting the scientists after 2 months of being with the company because I really wanted to see if these guys were real. And we drove to Nashville, and sure enough, I had the honor of meeting Dr. Arthur First. So Dr. Arthur First founded the Stanford Cancer Chemotherapy Laboratory. He was credited with being the founder of chemotherapy. He led the Neolife Scientific Advisory Board for 25 years, PhD in chemistry from Stanford, Doctor of Science from the University of San Francisco, a diplomat of the Academy of Toxicological Sciences, a distinction held by fewer than 100 scientists around the world. But guess what, guys? He shifted his focus to prevention and ending the trend of chronic disease. And he knew that nutrition and our diet, like fruits and vegetables, the dark colored fruits and veggies, played a huge role in protecting our bodies and helping to slow aging. He knew that we were not eating enough of those dark colored fruits and vegetables every single day. He was looking for a company that was making supplements only from food. And because of this, many of our products have been proven and published by the world's most prestigious peer-reviewed scientific journals. Again, third-party publications, which is really important because companies can say anything about their products. So again, we're based on whole food versus natural, because natural could be anything from the earth. Okay, guys, you got to make sure it's whole food, human food, right? And again, safe for history of use for decades. And one thing that's also very important is non-GMO and gluten-free raw materials. They have what we call transgenic testing of each batch. They can trace back to the original seed stock when that plant was, or the seed was planted, and when those nutrients were extracted. This is very, very powerful. So let's talk about filling the gaps. And we talked about, that study out of Lancet. They talked about the grains, the oils, essential fatty acids from fish and fruits and veggies and nuts and seeds. Well, this amazing Vitality Pack has some of those key nutrients that are missing in our diet to fill the nutritional gap. So Tran grain concentrate. These are the oils from grain. And this one capsule that's in this pack is equivalent to consuming 12 pounds of whole grain in every box. And this was developed for a hospital research study. And you know what? This is the product that led me to the company. I had hormonal imbalance. I had PMS. I had chronic fatigue. I woke up tired. I went to bed tired. Do you know anybody like this? I was in my 20s and I was feeling like this. It wasn't until I got on Tran from this company that I couldn't believe the difference in my hormones. My PMS was manageable. Even guys at work noticed a huge difference in me. And I had a great diet and I exercised and I couldn't figure out why. I wasn't feeling good because I didn't eat a lot of junk and I didn't consume a lot of sugar. What was different? Well, let me tell you, this Tran grain concentrate is what saved me. And it's also gluten-free and GMO-free. So I know a lot of people, when they see wheat, they think, oh, that's wheat. I can't do wheat. I'm celiac. I can't do grain. Well, guess what? It's just the lipids and phytosterols in the grain, okay? And now we have over 75 trillion cells. And without Tran in our diet, without these oils, the cell membrane becomes hard and leathery. Nutrients can't get in and waste can't get out. Every single cell in your body is surrounded by this lipid layer. Good nutrition begins at the cellular level. Tran feeds your cells, energizes your cells. It gets that membrane soft and permeable so nutrients can get in and waste can get out. So when you meet people and they say, I have a really good diet, I don't need to supplement, say, well, you know what? Guess what? This product will help your cells absorb the nutrients from your diet by 50% more. And this was clinically proven from Texas A&M University. Could you imagine getting 50% more fuel out of your body? This is what this product will do. Again, improves nutrient utilization efficiency, getting your cells working better. That's it. So when you're looking at health and longevity, the evil twins of aging and disease is inflammation and oxidation. So we talked about the grain oils getting the cells working, but what about oxidation? Oxidation is like rusting from the inside out, and fruits and vegetables play a really big role in protecting your cells. Phytonutrients, they're the colorful fruits and veggies. And how many servings should we be eating every day? 9 to 13 servings every single day. It's hard to do. So the carotenoid complex that's in this little pack is equivalent to consuming 80 pounds of raw fruits and vegetables in every box. Amazing. And it was clinically proven to boost your immune system 37% in just 20 days. Could you imagine? This is one product that helped me with my allergies. Couldn't believe the difference in my immunity. And it's made from those dark colored fruits and veggies. And now let's talk about the inflammation and fish oil. Remember what was the #1 counterfeit product? Omega-3 fish oil. Well, our omega-3 has all 8 omega-3 that's found in fish, screened for over 200 contaminants with an allowance of 0. So it helps with heart health, your joints, and that's what we're focusing on this evening, even for fetal eye and brain development. So, so important. And we should be eating about 3 servings of fresh fish a week, but guess what? They're saying even now, pregnant moms, none, and maybe 1 serving a week because of the mercury and lead levels in our fish. So now this is where the power comes in. Our fish oil, omega-3 salmon oil plus, was proven to lower the inflammatory index by 68% in just 8 weeks. This is why people get amazing results when they take our fish oil. Then there's a multivitamin in this pack. So when you complete this little multivitamin pack, I call it a Cadillac of multis, because you're not just getting a multivitamin, you're getting the grain oil, the fish oil, the carotenoid, which is your antioxidants, your fruits and veggies, and a multivitamin. So again, just filling those nutritional gaps to give you that foundation. So this is kind of like what we call the core nutrition. And then when you add the protein, we call this a breakfast solution, because most people start their morning either with nothing or a coffee or a carbohydrate, whereas I have not gone a morning in 34 years without a Neo-Life shake, guys. This helps to slow aging. Protein is the key to every cell in your body to repair, tissue repair, but also immunity. It just gives your body the energy that you need. And my kids grew up on the Neo-Life shake. It's safe for kids and babies, and there's nothing artificial. It's all natural. It's a complete protein, 18 grams of protein, a little bit of fiber. It has a glycemic control response, so it regulates blood sugar. So fantastic for diabetics. It has all your vitamins and minerals, and it is a meal replacement if you're looking for something like this. Now, for weight management, and the reason why I'm talking about weight at this point is this sometimes plays a factor on your joints. So when you're looking at our weight loss system, you do replace the Neo-Life shake. 2 meals replace the Neo-Life. Neo-Life shake replaces 2 meals, and then you're snacking in between and having a healthy dinner. But you know what's really, really important? It's not just about looking good. It's also about heart health and putting a lot of weight on your joints. When you look at Carlos, his story was incredible. He couldn't exercise. He was a diabetic. He was just really, really struggling. And once he lost the weight, he was able to do a marathon and exercise every day. And when you speak to him, he's like, he says, I got my life back. Okay. And when you're looking at joint pain, for every 1 pound lost, it removes 4 pounds of pressure off your knees. So this does help with that as well. Okay. So you got to look at everything that you're doing, right? And we do have a vegan option for the protein for those of you that are plant-based. And I have to say, it tastes pretty darn good compared to some of the other vegan options that are out there. And it's biologically complete as well. 21 amino acids. It has an amazing, energizing, healthy fat blend, 0 sugar, and easy to digest, which is really important as well. So we talked about the breakfast solution. That is kind of like your core nutrition. We call it like the foundation. And then we have some targeted solutions. So we're going to dive in a little more on alleviating some severe issues, especially if you had injury or severe inflammation. When you're looking at joint problems, it does affect over 400 million people worldwide. Okay, and cartilage is key. So let's talk about cartilage: lubricating, weight bearing, friction eliminating, shock absorbing. This is a tissue that is the key to the joint's amazing function. So you need to have this cartilage in check. It allows us to walk tens of thousands of miles in our lifetime in complete comfort and facilitates millions of jaw motions for talking, chewing, and smiling. So cartilage is really, really important. And when you're looking at osteoarthritis, painful inflammation, stiffness of the joints resulting from a breakdown of cartilage tissue. So thinned cartilage, you can see the little fragments in between the joints, and that's where your osteoarthritis is setting in. And this is very, very common. It's a natural process for aging. So the doctors say, okay? So the key nutrients for joint health to promote joint flexibility and range of motion: zinc. Zinc stimulates both growth and calcification involved in collagen synthesis. Boron, it reduces calcium loss and bone demineralization. Silica supports bone growth. Glucosamine is required to make new cartilage. And then there's your omega-3 fatty acids, and that supports a healthy balance of inflammatory and anti-inflammatory factors. So these are some of the key nutrients that just help to keep the joints flexible. And the benefits of glucosamine: it slows down the breakdown of cartilage, helps build and repair and regenerate cartilage to reverse the osteoarthritis process, reduce pain and other symptoms. So you have the comfort, the flexibility, and the mobility. This has really helped me tremendously, especially with my wrists. I played a lot of volleyball and basketball, and I was a heavy gardener. And I found that I was starting to struggle with my fingers as well. And my mom, I was kind of following my mom's kind of footsteps, right? Genetically. And when my mom and I started taking this product together, what a difference. It made a huge impact. And so it's natural, high quality source of purified glucosamine. It provides 1,500 milligrams of glucosamine, pharmaceutically pure, biologically functional. And I'm going to have our dear friend Shelley, we're going to have a little bit of fun, Shelley, because when I saw this picture from our event on the weekend, I know you like to have a lot of fun, but you also like to exercise at the same time. But I thought we would anyways, you can share your journey, because you've had an incredible journey. And I know if it wasn't for what you've done, you wouldn't be having the fun with us that you're having today. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Nada. Yeah, that's a new surprise, seeing that picture of me. So I've always been really active. In my 20s, I had both my knees surgically scoped, and I had to start wearing orthotics, and as well as knee braces, and that kind of was fine until my 40s, and then all of a sudden my knees started acting up again, and I kind of went, oh, like, I don't want to have surgery again. What else can I do? I went to the doctors to kind of figure out, and the specialist. So I found out, yes, I had issues with my knees and needed them scoped, and yes, I now had osteoarthritis in my hip, which is why I was getting pain there. So tried some different products that were, drugs as well as natural, because I prefer to do things natural. Things worked for a while, and then they stopped, or they didn't work. And then actually I met Nada at a fair, and she was sharing with me about the salmon oil and the full motion, as well as the shakes and Pro Vitality as well. But I decided to give them a try, and within a month, my pain was gone, and I just kind of went, yeah, give it another month, it'll come back. Well, it didn't. And then after a year, I added in another product. After a year, I no longer wear my braces, and haven't had the pain or worn my braces for 14 years. And actually 2 years ago, I broke my leg. I now have a rod and 4 screws in my right leg. And I didn't want to just kind of recover. I wanted to be active again. So, between the products here and taking extra of them, and good food, and a good surgeon, and then, different rehab and stuff. This is actually a picture of me, just last summer, actually, after I'd recuperated, doing a 4-day cycling trip. And then in January, I was skiing with my son out in Banff. So yeah, I like to be active, and all is great. I feel great. I feel healthier and stronger than I was 20 years ago. That picture actually was 4:30 in the morning when I got up to watch the coronation with my teacup, my English teacup. So that's kind of, we had a fun getaway training for learning more about Neolife and health. And that was me having a little bit of fun there. So yeah, I feel great. I'm back being active, and all is wonderful. And I'm so grateful to have learned about these products and to feel the way that I am.
Awesome, Shelley. I know, and I've seen you work out and train. It's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, so that's awesome to see you through this amazing journey. And I do want to share another story with you. this is a dear friend of mine. We were both motorcycle cops in Toronto, and Debbie was in a severe motorcycle accident. Her foot was actually severed. It came off and they pinned it back, and kind of like you, Shelley, but not, yours wasn't as severe. They didn't give much hope to Deb. They told her that it would be a club foot, that she'd need several skin grafts done. And I remember going into the hospital and she just said, bring it on. She knew. I said, listen, I said, we can get you healing faster. She goes, I know, Nada. She goes, let's just do this. And you know, her recovery was exceptional. She didn't even, not one skin graft was done. She drank that protein shakes twice a day, and that really helped with the skin tissue healing and repairing much faster. But a few years later, we launched Full Motion in Canada. And Neil Life asked me if I knew anybody that had injury or severe inflammation that would be a test study. And I picked my dear friend Debbie, and my mom. So I have to say I was so grateful that I was able to pick these two, because the stories were too different, because Debbie was young and my mom was a little older. And the results after being on the Full Motion, she actually was able to do a light jog. And even her physiotherapist was blown away at her recovery. And what's really, really cool is, you know, she loved being on the police force, and she was able to stay on in uniform and became a staff sergeant. Whereas her whole, like, she was quite scared that she would not be able to return to duty. And these products really gave her life back. So that's the power of good nutrition. And that Full Motion is definitely one of her favorite products. And the salmon oil, because this is the one thing that is partnered with the Full Motion. So the glucosamine, the Full Motion, does help to reduce inflammation and regenerate cartilage. But then the omega-3 salmon oil also helps with reducing inflammation. And again, the uniqueness of this product, all 8 omega-3s, pure Atlantic salmon, cold pressed from the fillet only, screened for over 200 toxins, clinically proven. This is so important because companies can produce products, remember, and if they don't have clinical studies, then you just don't know if it's working. And then we have another very active, I would say, young lady with us. Also, Heather, we'd love for you to share your journey with us.
Thank you, Nada. You're very kind, not so young, but yes, pain was really a big part of my life. I had everything from migraines as a child to lots of joint issues, back pain, dislocated shoulders. And then when I was in my 30s and I had a basketball accident, and so I tore cartilage, tore ligaments, had my leg in a cast. For years, I couldn't even come close to kneeling down. I couldn't do hardly any sports at all anymore. But then in my mid-40s, I was introduced to Neolife and started taking the basic products. And I found out about the power of the omega-3 salmon oil. So I increased that. And certainly to this day, I'm virtually headache-free. I used to get them 2 to 3 times a week. Now I get a couple a year. So very, very minimal. And then here I am, still curling. I'm 71 now, and I teach curling, and I also use the sliding delivery. I play pickleball, golfing. Yay, golfing's just started. And you know, I walk. Well, today I walked 6 kilometers after golfing yesterday, and then did a workout after my walk today. So it's enabled me to be active, healthy, loving my life, and being able to play with my grandchildren. I have 4 grandchildren under the age of 7. We love to play sports together, and it's a lot more fun when you don't have the pain. So thank you very much.
It sure is, Heather. Thank you so much. Awesome to have you join us tonight. So again, fish oil, our Neolife Salmon Oil Plus, clinically proven to lower the inflammatory index 68% in just 8 weeks. And you know, we talk about osteoarthritis and actual structural damage, but there's also other conditions out there like called rheumatoid arthritis, which is more autoimmune, but there's also inflammatory factors as well. This is a dear friend of mine, Laurie Beteau. I'm going to have her share her story in just a couple of minutes.
Yes.
under control and live a life where she can virtually be almost pain-free. And we all know with rheumatoid arthritis, it is something that, you'll always have the condition, but by keeping your immune system strong, you can live a longer, healthier life. So maybe you can give everybody an idea on the challenges you had and what you did through your journey.
Okay, so my rheumatoid arthritis was in my feet and my hands. I would wake up in the morning, we sleep like this. I'd wake up in the morning and I would literally have to peel my fingers open like that. To get out of bed, the thought of putting my feet on the ground was like torture to me because it hurt so bad. Once I started to move around, of course, things loosened up a little bit, but just the thought of getting out of bed was like, oh, I have to put my feet down on the ground again. So I went on all the medications that they tell you that are going to help you, and they don't tell you about all the side effects. One of the medications that I was on was destroying my esophagus, and that's when I couldn't take the medications anymore. And so I decided to go into a study where they gave me injections, which would take away my immune system so that the rheumatoid arthritis would stop. Because basically rheumatoid arthritis is your immune system attacking your joints. So if they take your immune system away, your rheumatoid arthritis is going to stop. That's the way they look at it. So I went on that for about 9 months, but I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that I didn't have an immune system. So I called Nada again and I said, Nada, I've got to do something. I have to get off these injections. I've got to change my life. So she came over, she put together a program for me, and I also did some diet changes. I gave up meat, gluten, dairy, and I went on all the products that Nada suggested. And I actually did something not very smart, but I stopped taking the injections just cold turkey, which I ended up being okay with it, but maybe
it's not something that
no, I know you would. Nobody ever recommended that. That was my own decision. I decided that on myself. I just decided I was not going to put those injections in my body anymore, and I just went full force with the program for 3 months, and then another 3 months. We kind of brought it down. I am now in remission. There is no sign of rheumatoid arthritis in my blood at all. I do still have the damage that was done previous to all the medications and everything, but I have no damage going further. I have very little pain in weather when it's raining, damp. Other than that, I live very differently.
I just wanted to add that a combination of gut healing, improving her digestion, eliminating some of these foods that cause inflammation, along with good supplementation that I know was mainly the like the fish oil, the grain oil, probiotics. There was a few products that we zeroed in on just to give Laurie a better chance on her cells just working better and her body working better. And I've seen such an incredible improvement. So
that's my dear friend Laurie, and she's still doing amazing. And then, she talked about gut health playing a role. And this is my mom. I mean, my mom, when we started her on the products 34 years ago, her fibromyalgia, I didn't understand that was related to gut health. So yes, fibromyalgia is inflammatory. And, what is fibromyalgia? Well, pain everywhere. And she struggled with pain everywhere, muscle spasms, tenderness, whenever you would touch any part of her body. Fatigue was really bad. And then the bowel issues, the IBS, and some people get the restless leg syndrome, depression, brain fog. And the theories for cause: stress, physical or mental, post-traumatic stress, and genetic. So there's different causes and the reasons why people have fibromyalgia. And you know what? There's a lot you can do to help and more of a natural approach. Rest and sleep and gentle exercise, stretching, eating a clean diet, supplementing really help. And we always look at that core nutrition, which is our breakfast solution, and then adding a few extra things like the salmon oil, full motion, and digestive products. And we talked a little bit about the probiotic and where the acidophilus comes in. because the Acidophilus Plus is targeted delivered. It's a probiotic. It's whole food derived, and it puts that good bacteria back into the lower intestine, which is so important. And again, it has 5 types of bacteria that are clinically proven to get to where they need to get to, and that's really important. It has a gel guard protection, guarantees delivery to the lower intestine. One of our capsules is equivalent to eating 10 containers of yogurt, which is pretty powerful. So that's one product to help the gut and to get things working properly. But then the aloe vera juice, this is my mom's favorite because of the stress factor. Especially when you're looking at fibromyalgia, usually stress induces the condition. In our aloe vera juice, it helps not only with constipation and immune system, it helps with blood sugar, respiratory, but also reducing stress, promoting healing, and has some anti-inflammatory properties as well. So if you have a lot of inflammation in the body and you're dealing with this kind of achiness with fibromyalgia, and have some concerns with digestion and gut healing, then the aloe vera is absolutely fantastic, and it tastes really good. It has it's almost like a flat ginger ale, or like a what do you call, apple cider kind of drink, and it tastes really good. So I know, because I know there's a lot of gooey goopy aloes out there, but this is very soothing and it tastes really nice. So everyone needs to look at, first of all, that core nutrition. That's where we always focus on, and then zero in some of these extras. So the breakfast solution is always a fantastic place to start. And then people say, what else? What should I add? I always say, even add an extra bottle of salmon oil. That's always a great place to start. And then you can always, down the road, consider the full motion, or give this a month or two and see how you do. And then you can add, or if you do have some gut issues, add the Acidophilus and the aloe. So everybody is different. So it just depends on what you're dealing with as an individual. And then again, we do have the vegan option in that breakfast solution as well. And, how do you get started? How do I get these products? Well, what's so awesome, Neolife started a free club. The Neolife Club, it's a free membership. If you just want to use the products, as soon as you join as a member, you automatically get a 10% savings, and you can even get 20% discount on every order. No gimmicks or requirements, just savings. And you can even earn product points. So free products, you can earn your products for free. It's a referral program, and also get your shipping back, which is a loyalty program. So my customers love the fact that they can get their products for free every month, as long as they share with 3 people, or even get their shipping back. So it's pretty awesome. And then we do have a promoter level where you can generate income. For those of you that are interested in that area, just ask the person who invited you, and they can sit down and share with you how that happened. I looked at this as a customer when I first started, not interested in building a business. But when I saw the impact the products were making in my family, in myself, my sister, my aunts, my mom, and neighbors and coworkers, I got so excited I could not share. And that's when I started generating incredible income. So if you're looking at that, just ask us and we can share that with you as well. But where can you start a business in Canada for as little as $98? I don't know, or 75 in the US. And what that does, it unlocks a 25% savings on every order, full access to our marketing plan, which is our compensation plan. And you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. We work together as a team. There's 34 people on this call tonight, and this is all part of what we do. We're here to help and share and support you every step of the way. You're never left alone. So just reach out if you're interested in that area. But these are our different packs. So we talked about the Vitality Pack, which is our Cadillac of Multis. When you add the protein shake, we call this a breakfast solution. And then the weight loss solution is for those of you that are looking at shedding a few pounds and wanting to replace 2 meals. And that's our weight loss pack there, which is called the Shape Up Pack. So again, whether you're just looking at using the products and getting a discount, we welcome you as a member. If you're curious about the income opportunity and developing something into a professional income like I was, we can help you as well. If you just like to learn more, that's okay too. We do this session, a similar session every Thursday, different topics where you could learn more about the products and ask questions. And that's what's really nice about this event tonight. I will be stopping the recording and opening up to any questions that you may have. So again, I just want to thank you for taking the time for joining us tonight. And if you do have any questions, please stick around. So I know we covered a lot and we shared a lot of different testimonials. So we're here to help and support and guide you every step of the way. So thank you again for joining us.